BJP's deliberate saffronization of institutions has long been in the news, but somehow it was always slightly subtle. But this time, it's explosive, and the target are its cadet colleges, or Sainik schools. Concerns are rising about this growing influence of Hindutva-linked groups in such institutions, as earlier these schools were once seen as a neutral training ground for future armed forces officers. But critics now say they may be slowly shifting toward a more ideological direction. The controversy stems from the Union government's 2021 decision to expand the Sainik schools through a public-private partnership model. Under this scheme, private trusts, NGOs, and other entities could run these institutions in collaboration with the state. So on paper, it was about widening access, but turns out it's opening gates to politicization, and the Sainik schools are no longer purely state-run. Instead, many are being handed over to organizations with clear ideological leanings. How clear, you ask? Reports indicate that roughly 62% of the first batch of approved schools are linked to groups associated with the Sangh Parivar, the RSS-affiliated organizations, political figures from the Bharatiya Janata Party, or aligned religious bodies. The data compiled from official releases and RTI responses raises uncomfortable questions. Is this expansion about education or influence? Historically, Sainik schools have operated under the Indian Defense Ministry, producing over 7,000 officers and also maintaining a reputation for being disciplined, for merit, and secular ethos. No, seriously though, with institutions tied to RSS-linked setups entering the fold, critics warn of a subtle but steady saffronization of military preparatory spaces. Retired military officials have sounded alarm. Some argue that introducing ideological filters into feeder institutions risk shaping the character of future armed forces. Others go further, warning of a deliberate attempt to cultivate a more aligned officer class. It's like patriotism is being politicized and young minds being trained to grow up to be RSS-minded, violent hate mongers. Of course, the government maintains this is about scale and efficiency, but critics aren't convinced. Because when military classrooms start to change, what is being taught and why really matters. In a country that prides itself on secular military tradition, even education has boiled down to political alignment.